Good morning. It's Sunday, and I feel like putting some makeup on. So here I am. I've had a little bit of a, I guess you would call it an epiphany, maybe. I don't know. So as y'all know, I have been struggling. I'm using Juvia's Place. I've been hooked on this foundation since I started using it. Super tip though, you've got to be really careful not to use too much because it will look kind of cakey and oxidize if you use too much of it, just to give you a heads up. So, I realized that where I have been struggling so much emotionally, I used way too much, is the emotions I've been going through are very similar to me mourning. I think with everything that's been going on with my kid, and the things that have been coming out of his mouth, essentially, he wants out of the facility and out of mental health, like immediately. But that is because of his illness. He doesn't understand, he doesn't realize that there's something wrong with his logic and his reality. So I kind of realized that through all of this and him not understanding and making the connection, that he can't really fix something if he, good morning, Gloria. He can't really fix something if he doesn't think anything's wrong. And I mean, I've known this, but I guess I just always held on to the hope that he was just going to have like this epiphany, and that was going to be the turning point. So with this last little stint, and with his delusions and his grip on, his form of reality, getting worse, I think what happened is I realized, I've known, but I think it hit me harder, that he may never snap out of it. And so what has happened, and his resentment for me is growing worse. It's growing, he has an obscene amount of resentment towards me. And it's just because he thinks that all of this is my fault and that there's nothing wrong with him, but that mom doesn't want him or doesn't understand him. And so mom doesn't want him home. But he completely admitted as well that he really doesn't want to come home. He just doesn't want to be in the mental health facility anymore. But with the way that his logic is and the way that his brain works, it's essentially too dangerous for him to be out of the mental health system. I mean, I could pull him. I could go pull him today if I wanted to. But he would just end up in jail. I mean, he's already on probation. We go to court Thursday for the destruction of property and the assault that they dropped. But essentially, I am trying to keep him out of jail at this point because he's not fully aware of what he's doing. So, sorry, I'm kind of excited about this epiphany, but it's also like a huge slap in the face at the same time. I think one of the worst things for me is becoming self-aware of something and not knowing how to fix it. And so that's like that's what I'm struggling with. But I realized that the emotions that I was going through and everything, and this is going to sound horrible, please don't judge me, but this is what I think why this time has hit me so hard. Because I've been doing this for almost 16 years now, you know, I've kind of I have lots of time to reflect and overanalyze because that's who I am. Um, Sorry, I'm trying really hard to get this out without losing it. Okay? So, I essentially the last couple of weeks I've been mourning my son. Is what I feel like has been happening because there's not a whole lot of light at the end of this tunnel, and it's not um and it's so what there isn't a whole lot of like there isn't a medication that he can take that is just going to help. Trust me, we've tried bukus of it, and the only real help that is available for him is basically going to be some really intense therapy. And I don't know how much of y'all are versed in. Look, I'm shaking. I don't know how versed you guys are in the mental health system, but it's essentially like some intense trauma focused therapy and some intense psychodynamic therapy. Those are some very intense therapies. The issue is that as long as he feels like, thank you, Gloria, as long as he feels like there's nothing that he needs to do and that it's everybody else, he's not going to be so receptive to this therapy. And as you guys know, and we know because we think our our thought processes are in logic. We know that if there's something that we need to work on, we can go through therapy and that will help us. But the fact that he doesn't feel like his logic is skewed, his reality is skewed, essentially, I don't know that the therapy is going to work because you have to be invested in the therapy. You have to realize that there might be some things that you need to work on. So, with that realization, I think essentially I have been mourning my son because it's not that I've given up. It's just I realize that his future is going to be very difficult for him. It's going to be essentially up to him. You know, I compare what he does and says a lot to an addict because it's very similar. But essentially, until he has this epiphany or can understand that his brain just works differently, we're not really going to have a whole lot of progress. With that being said, it doesn't mean it won't ever happen. It just means that, unlike an addict, he's not going to have a rock bottom. Does that make sense? Do you know how hard it is to do a straight line when you're shaking? So, with me understanding this, it's been very hard for me. Because through my own anxiety and trauma, and even, some PTSD with dealing with my son, essentially, I understand that I cannot control any of that. And as a mama, not having any control over being able to help your child is horrible. It's a really shitty place to be in. I love him, and I will never stop loving him. But having to sit and watch your baby struggle emotionally, and not have any control over it, and not be able to help them, is hard. It's really hard. So, if you've wondered why I haven't been doing as many lives and uploading videos and all of that, that's why. It's been tough, and I've been working a lot, and that's kind of helped, but there are moments it really kind of sucks because I'll be in the back like washing a dog, and just have a moment and start to do this. So it's been really hard. And I think what's even tougher is being self-aware and knowing what I'm doing and what I'm feeling and like what's happening, and not being able to do anything about it, other than just cry, has been difficult for me, because my own anxiety and PTSD and trauma and all of that, I try to over control situations, because if I can control it, then I'm more comfortable with it, and it doesn't seem to be as stressful for me. But I have absolutely zero control right now in any of it. And so it's so it's very hard to deal with my own anxiety and stuff with it, because my coping mechanism for my own stress and anxiety is to try to control as much as I can so that I feel calmer, I feel better about a stressful situation. And I have zero control at the moment. Or I haven't really had control in a very long time. I have to put more concealer on because it kind of came off. And I apologize, because my last several lives have been real heavy like this. And I want so much just to give you guys light and happiness and positivity. But I just don't really have it in me currently. But I'm really trying, because I know that brings me joy. When I get messages from you guys, or you guys comment, that I inspired a look or whatever, that gives me a little glimpse of joy. And, I feel guilty that I haven't been able to be that glimmer of light for you guys in a long time. So that's where I'm at. I just kind of wanted to explain where I've been. And I mean, I know you guys have some of y'all who've followed me for a very long time. I'm going to use my charisma contour. Are like, oh, you don't owe us an explanation. You don't, I put that guilt, and I do that to myself. That has nothing to do with you guys. That's my own guilt. So it has nothing, it has everything to do with you and nothing to do with you at the same time, if that makes any sense. So anyways, I've got to go to work tonight, but I wanted to do my makeup and just kind of let y'all know where I've been. Okay. So I'm going to use the Lo-Fi Duo blusher. This one is the Agari Punch. It's kind of an orangey corally blush, but it's also by Kaleidos. Y'all know I love Kaleidos. I'm very, I tried to get the Jaclyn Hill blush bronzer things, but them bad boys sold out in 2.5 seconds. And then when I got the email from Ulta that that they had it, when I went to the site after I got the email about it, the only one that was left was like a super dark one. And as y'all know, I glow in the dark. I'm pasty pale, and so it wasn't going to be a good color for me. So I'm going to have to wait till the restock. But I am super intrigued by those, and I'm super proud of her that she did not let the hairy lipstick gate get her down. I'm excited that she is launching liquid lipsticks. I will probably get a couple of those just because I want to see how the formula is going to be. But I am excited to see that she didn't give up. So I'm going to use my Worldy palette, and I don't know if y'all remember this. This is by P. Louise, but it's got like sand in it. It's super heavy. It's bulky. It opens like this. It doesn't fold back, so it's really kind of annoying to hold, so you don't smash your finger. But the shades in it are absolutely beautiful. They're super pigmented. I really love that I have this palette. You guys are really quiet today. I hope I didn't bring you guys down. Okay, so I kind of want to do a darker, more grungy type look. And so this global shade right here is a beautiful dark shimmer. So I want to use it. I think I'm going to start with Baggage, which is this like lime green shade. Except for I just accidentally stuck my brush in the wrong color. And I just wiped it on my jeans. I'm just going grocery shopping into work. Like, yeah, it's okay. Okay, so, and I'm going to put that above my crease, like almost up into my brow. And the reason I bring it up like that is because I have hooded eyes. And so when I look forward, everything goes into my crease. And so with my first transition shade, so to speak, I go above my crease so that I can bring everything up a little bit so that when I have my eyes open and they go into the hood, you'll still be able to see those shades. So I just start on the inside, and then I just, you know, you can, if I really want to pack on the pigment, I'll dab, 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 and then blend out. But if I'm just trying to do like a light wash, I'll use like windshield wiper motions. And I just want this to be like a light wash of the color, not necessarily super, super, super pigmented. So I'm just kind of bringing that up. This is a Kaleidos brush, by the way. I really like their brushes. I think I saw something where they weren't going to really have them anymore, and that kind of makes me sad. But it's just a big fluffy blending brush. So as I go down in my eye, guys, my crown is falling. Trying really hard to keep it together. Keep it together, keep it together, keep it together. Okay. Okay. So as I go down in my eye shades, I go down in the diameter of my brush, and I'll show you what I mean. So this first brush that I was using is a big fluffy brush. I'm still going to be using a big fluffy brush, but if you notice, the diameter in the size of the brush goes down, and that's because as I go down in my eye, I don't want to cover so much area, and it helps me control the shade a lot better. So the next shade I'm going to go into is called Barrier Reef. It's a real pretty, like, tealy color. And I'm just going to put that in my crease, but come up just a little bit above my crease. And I'm packing, like I said before, because I want to pack that pigment on. Okay, so I'm pressing it in, and then I'm going to go in and kind of blend it into that lime green shade. And if you notice, I'm above my crease. Hey, Gina. If you notice, I'm just a little bit above my crease, and that's what I meant by bringing everything up, so that when I open my eyes, my hooded eyes, you can still see both shades. So I'm just going to pack where I want to concentrate that pigment. And then I will go back and do like circles and windshield wipers just to bring that up. If you notice, once I packed the pigmented the pigment where I wanted it, I didn't dip back in. So I'm using the pigment that I packed in my crease and what's left on my brush to bring up into my crease. And that's what helps give me that gradient or that blend. And then if I want to define it a little bit more, I'll go back in and just pack it again into my crease just to darken it up, deepen it up a little bit. so that I'm getting a more of a gradient. And I don't know, I know you can probably hear it. I don't know if you can, sorry, I'll try to pay more attention. When I dip into my shade, you know, I'm coating my brush and then I'm tapping it on the side of my palette or my dresser or whatever. But what I'm essentially doing is dusting off the excess so that I don't get fallout. That's why a lot of times with palettes, if they're kind of dusty, I don't really care because I'm going to tap it off anyways, and that helps protect from getting a bunch of fallout all over my face. Okay, I'm going to use the same exact brush, mainly just because I don't want to wash a bunch of brushes. But for two, I'm kind of hoping any residue that's left on this will mix with the next color that I'm going to use. I'm going to go into this really dark matte right here, dark blue tealy matte. It's called the Alps. And I'm going to use that on the outer corner to deepen this eye look up. So same exact brush. I'm just going to coat it pretty good. I'm going to tap it off. And I don't know if you can see that, but it's like a poof of shadow residue. And then I'm just going to dab it mainly on this outer corner because that's where I want to concentrate that deeper shade. Dipping back in, dusting off. Dabbing on the outer corner. And I'm going to keep doing that until I get it as deep as I want it to be. Hey, Susanna. Okay, so once I get that outer lid as deep as I want, I'm going to take the residue. I'm not going to dip back in. And I'm just going to pull that into my crease a little bit. And that's just to bring those two shades kind of together. Just so I continue that gradient. And then if I want to deepen up more, I just go back in. Just to deepen. Okay? So I'm going to use my NYX glitter primer, and it only takes a teeny tiny bit. And when I say teeny tiny bit, I mean teeny tiny. It does not take that much. And I'm going to grab a flat dense brush, if I can find it. I should have had all these sitting out ready to go, and I didn't. This one will work. This is just a BH Cosmetics brush. So it's round, but it's flat, and it's dense, so it's really it's very stiff. And I'm just going to go into half of that little glob, and then I pull it down so that I can evenly coat my brush, so that I don't get a big glob in one spot or not. And I'm just going to dab this on this lower part of my lid, right in the corner, and bring it up just a little bit. You do need to be careful because anywhere that this glitter glue is going, the shadow is going to stick to it. So be really careful. So I'm going back into the other half, and same thing, I'm pulling it down. And I'm going to just do the bottom part. And the reason I'm only going about halfway is because I'm trying to do a fake cut crease. Gina said stiff. Okay. I'm going to go into that beautiful, super dark, tealy shimmer, and it's called Global. I'm using the exact same brush. And I'm just going to dig in, coat my brush good. I'm still going to tap off just to make sure I don't have any fallout. And I'm just going to press that into anywhere that I have that glitter glue. And then once I get all of the glitter glue area coated, I'm just going to bring it back over on the side a little bit. But you can see the line where I had the glitter glue versus where I didn't. And then I'm going to dip back in, and I'm going to do the same to the other side. Now, I did try to go quickly so that the glitter glue did not dry. So if you need to do your glitter glue one eye at a time, you can do that. If you're worried that you're not going to be quick enough to get it to go on there before the glitter glue dries. So now I'm going to take that same, and I'm just going to pull a little more onto this outer corner, just so there's not so much of a line where I have that glitter glue and where I don't. And I'm doing the same on this side. Where the glitter glue is going to be more intense than where it's not. But that's what I like about it. Okay? And I'm not super happy with how far over this one is. So I'm just going to take that glitter glue a little bit, and I'm just going to flip my brush over and barely dab into the glitter glue. And I'm just going to add a little bit more glitter glue right here. And do the same over here. Just because I want it to grab there a little bit more. That's the great thing about makeup, is because you can always go back and change if you want to do, like if you're not loving how it's looking. See how much better that is? I don't have such a line there. Okay, so I'm going to take that same brush that I used for my darker outer corner shade. I'm not going to dip any more into it, but I'm going to take the residue of what's on it, and I'm just gently going to rub that into my crease so that I can blend that shimmer shade just a little bit up into my crease. Because I have hooded eyes, it's going to transfer up there anyways, so I'm just kind of blending it up there a little bit so that it looks like I meant for some of it to be up there, because like I said, it's going to transfer up there anyways. Okay, so now I'm going to do the lower lash line, and I think I'm going to go into San Francisco, which is this super dark navy blue shade. Now, when I do my under eye and I'm trying to stay pretty close to my lash line, I still use a round fluffy brush, but it's going to be smaller in diameter. So here's what I used on my top lid. This is what I used in my crease. And then do you see how tiny and small? It's still fluffy. It's still a blending brush, but it's much smaller in diameter. So I'm going to go into San Francisco. And again, I'm going to coat my brush, and then I'm going to tap off any excess. And I'm just going to pull this up as close as I can to my lash line. And I do have to do this by feel. I can't really look and do it. Like I see some people on some of their YouTube videos and all that. They're like looking straight ahead to see like where they're putting it. I can't do that. I don't know why, but I can't do that. So I'm just putting it as close to my lash line as I possibly can. Okay, and much like when I go down, as I go down, I start small and I go bigger. So I'm going to grab another blending brush, and this is why I have 50,000 brushes. So it's still a blending brush, but as you can see, it's a little bit bigger in diameter. It's also not as densely packed. It's a little bit looser and fluffier. And I'm going to go into this first class shade, which is like a burgundy plum. I don't know what color. It's not even burgundy. It's purple. It's like a red purple. But I'm going to that again, tapping off my excess. And I'm just going to blend that right into the bottom part of where I put that blue. You are going to lose some of the blue when you do this, but again, it's okay because if you notice, I didn't use the same brush, so I can go back in to that blue with that same brush I used, go back into the blue and put back any that got blended off when I grabbed that other shade. So I just put it back. And I kind of keep going back and forth with that until I like where it's at. I like the blend or whatever. Okay, so that's all I need out of that one. I know it looks kind of cray-cray right now, but you got to trust the process. Because I used that dark blue, I'm going to grab a dark blue liner. Hang on. Here we go. So this is a NYX Professional Makeup eyeliner. It's in Sunrise Blue. It's kind of a metallic-y blue. And I'm just going to use that on my waterline. Oh, and a piece broke off into my lid. Gotta love when that happens. I got it. These are pretty good. Now, don't get me wrong. They are not ColourPop good, but they're pretty good. Some of the shades I've noticed go on better and last longer than some of the other shades. Okay. Good morning, Denise. So I'm going to be using my Lights Camera Lashes, mascara, I love this for creating volume and separating my lower lashes. But for whatever reason, I don't like the way it does my top lashes. And so I use a different mascara for my top lashes. Don't judge me. I don't know why. I just feel like it does super good on my lower lashes, but I don't get the same results or separation and volume on my top lashes, and I don't know why that is. But that's why I use 3 different mascaras. Does anybody else use multiple mascaras, or are y'all like the same mascara for top and bottom? Am I the only one who uses like 4 different mascaras? So now I use the Bad Gal Bang. And I go back over my lower lash line. And that's because I feel like the Bad Gal Bang goes over where I've created that volume and separation. And it helps me get length. I know it's crazy, but it is what it is. And if you notice, these are all trial sizes or travel sizes, whatever. You need to throw out your mascaras like every 3 months. So don't buy a full tube of mascara. You're not going to use all of it before it's time to toss it out. So don't waste your money. Buy the trial size. This one is my favorite for the top lashes. It's the Pretty Vulgar and the Feathers 19, the Raven mascara. But this bitch is old and I need to toss it out and buy a new one. But for whatever reason, I can't bring myself to buy another one. And I don't know why that is. Don't judge me. But this one's getting old. Like, it's even starting to smell a little funny. Don't judge me. I use 4 or 5 different mascaras when I don't wear yes. See? Okay, good. Then I don't feel so bad. I mean, I do feel bad when it's time for me to purchase all of them again, but you know. So I have only found this mascara at Sephora or at the Pretty Vulgar site itself. But I'm weird and I don't want to make a purchase for one thing. And Sephora is too expensive for me. Don't laugh at me, but I don't know why, but I feel like my low budget ass can't afford Sephora. Don't come for me. That's just my opinion. I'm not bougie enough to shop at Sephora. I have like, what the hell is that? I think, oh, I got some stuff on my hands. Hang on. I think I accidentally touched my face at some point with shit on my hands. Okay. All right. And ladies and gents, we have textures, we have pores, we have wrinkles, and that is reality. Do not compare yourself to Instagram or to Facebook or any of the other medias because that shit is photoshopped. It's not reality. So don't be down on yourself if your skin doesn't look as smooth or your, you've got wrinkles or whatever. That's real. That's real in real life. Be real. Stop with the filters. Stop with the making your eyes big with the filters. You are beautiful the way that you are. And I know that it's hard to feel that way sometimes, but be you. Because you are unique and beautiful and original, and there's no one else like you. So be you. Okay, I'm done with my step box. All right. So as y'all know, I recently got Give Me Glow's new shades, and I have been absolutely in love with the 3 new. It's Electric Unicorn and Rose Gold Glam. I don't even know the names of them. Okay. But I've been in love with the 3 new shades. They're, as a matter of fact, hang on. Let me give you some beautifulness in your feed. So this first one is Electric Unicorn. The second one is, damn it. Okay. The second one is Glamorous. And the third one is Rose's Remix. If you do not have these 3 shades by Give Me Glow, you are missing out. I mean, they're just amazing. Don't get me wrong. Give Me Glow has a great shimmer formula anyways, but these three, I hope that is their goal for all of their shimmers coming up, because they're just special. These are very special. These are probably the best that I've seen from them in a long time, and they have one of my favorite shimmer formulas, so that's saying a lot. Okay, so anyways, so I have this small round. It's stiff again. Gotta go feed the grands. Love you, Denise. I'm going to go into Electric Unicorn, which is that white one that has like the green shimmer to it. And I'm just going to boop that on my inner corner. I did spray this brush with some Morphe setting spray just to help it stick and also to help with the intensity. You can also try to use like your pinky finger, but mine's fat. So if I ever try to use my pinky finger, it's almost too big. And I don't like how big it makes the little boop. So that's why I use a brush. But you can use a finger. But isn't that beautiful? I am going to take a fluffy type of brush, and I'm going to go into, this is Halo, also by Give Me Glow, which is also a beautiful, beautiful, like, eyeshadow shade. But I'm just going to dip into it, and I'm really going to tap it off, and I'm going to use that as my brow bone highlight. So I'm just using a little bit. And then what I do after I've put on my brow bone is I go back with that brush that I used for that transition shade, and I just gently go over it, just so that there's not like a stark line where that highlighter went on. And I don't know if you can tell, but it's hard to see in a camera. It's hard to get the picture, but y'all understand. So I'm also going to take a big, I guess this is like a blush brush. I don't know. I'm going to go into that same Halo. Now, granted, guys, they're dusty. Okay? They're just full disclosure. You're going to get it everywhere. But the shades are beautiful, and I feel like it's worth it. But Halo is like a beautiful golden, I don't know if you can see it. It's a beautiful golden, yellowy shade. It's supposed to be eyeshadow, but I use it as a highlighter. I'll use it as a eyeshadow too, but I love it as a highlighter. And then once I put on that highlighter, I use the bottom of my beauty blender, and I just kind of mush it into my skin, just so that it looks a little more natural and not like I have a streak of yellow on my face. But it does get everywhere. Just a heads up. All right, I'm not sure what lip to do. This is a new from Ace Beauté lip liner. It's called Be Peachy. It was gifted to me. It glides on really smooth. It lasts really good. So I've been really enjoying this, and I love the shade of it. Now it says Be Peachy. It's not really a peach color. It's more of a mauve color. My favorite lip liner is still my LA Girl. And Keep It Spicy. That's still my favorite. But I was gifted this, and so I want to use it. And I just line right above my natural lip line. There's like this white ledge, and I just follow that ledge. And that is a way that you can overline your lips without looking like you drew on your lips. And then, of course, I get the corner. Okay, so I want to go with a kind of a purpley type shade because I want it to tie into the purple that I used underneath here. So I'm going to go into, it's Locket by Sugar Pill. It does have a little bit of glitter to it after you've wore it a little bit and you press your lips together. But I love Sugar Pill's formula. I love the way it smells. I love the way it lasts. If you notice, I'm warming the tube up a little bit by rubbing it in my fingers. I'm also taking the wand and kind of moving it around, and that's because my lipsticks, I have a bunch of them, and so they sit for a long time. So I'm just trying to mix it up. So I'm using the tip of the doe foot to make sure that that line follows the same line as where I lined it. So I'm just following that line. Okay. I'm going to go back with that shade that I had right here. And I'm just going to kind of bring it down a little bit more. Just because I think it needs to come down just a little bit after I put my mascara on. I didn't dip back into it. I'm using the residue off the brush. Just to help blend it a little bit. So this is it. Thank you for watching my emotional roller coaster. But this is just me. This is me, and this is why I started Mentally Unstable Makeup on my YouTube and here on Facebook. This is why I started it, so that I could talk about my emotions. And also, I hope that it helps somebody else. Because I know I'm not the only mama of a special needs son that goes through these type of emotions. I know I'm not the only one because I've had a ton of you reach out to me since I started my YouTube and Facebook journey. We need to end the stigma around it. We need to be talking about it. We need to be talking about how it affects our emotional state, how it affects their emotional state. It needs to be talked about so that we can remove the shame. We can remove the embarrassment. We can, more people will understand. I feel like more people need to talk about it. And I know it's hard. And I know that, everybody worries about admitting when you're having emotional struggles, but you're not alone. You are not alone. And that's just what I want to make sure everybody knows. So love yourself, love each other, and have a great Sunday. And thank you for listening to me vent. Love you guys. Bye.